I have fired other people for similar types of things, no matter what happened in the past also. So no matter what his past was, he still would have been fired for the incident that happened that day, as I have done on other occasions. Now, his past did not help him, because what it showed me is that his conduct that he had displayed in the past, that we had given an attempt to allow him to take and resurrect himself, to have a job with the Volusia County Sheriff's Department, because people had allowed, or had stepped forward to say he had changed, that he had shown, displaying the type of the behavior that had made us wonder about hiring to start with.
Now, I understand how you feel that you would have terminated him anyway, but in this case, regarding Mr. Flesh, on February 14, 2011, in a subsequent termination hearing, part of the rationale that you used in terminating him was his history, wasn't it?
My mind, it did not help him.
Okay. Yet you didn't include any of that rationale in the intent to terminate letter you presented to Mr. Flesh.
I was dismissing him for what he had done in Daytona on the night he was arrested.
Along with the fact that he had this previous history of arrest prior to coming to the Sheriff's Department,
Dismissed him for what he did on the day of that incident.
Okay, we'll let the board mull that one. Go ahead and have this marked as exhibit 12. Do you recognize that document, sir?
Yes, I did.
And this is the February 17, 2011 letter where you informed Mr. Flesh that you had elected to terminate his employment, correct?
Yes, sir.
Do you see anywhere in this letter where you referenced Mr. Flesh's personal history? That you,
No, sir.
no. Let's talk about Deputy Harvey. The deputy you brought up during the course of his examination.
Yes, sir.
Deputy Harvey, if memory serves, was driving under the influence and hit a police car, didn't he?
Yes.
And he did that in, around about August 2009. Is that right?
I don't recall the exact date.
I know that's a long one, but I marked the pages that I'm most interested in. I'm representing to you that this is the internal affairs report compiled by the Volusia County Sheriff's Office regarding John Harvey. Do you have any reason to believe that is not the case?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, what I'd like you to do is turn to the first, should be the first tab you have there. Okay? And we're now looking on the same page. And this is the beginning of the internal affairs report regarding the conduct of Deputy Harvey. And it states the period covered August 29, 2009, date reported August 31st, 2009. Are we on the same page?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Now, going down to that second paragraph, this is the basis for the investigation as reported by Sergeant, now Lieutenant Morgan, at the time he completed his IA. Would you agree with me, sir, that Deputy Harvey was charged with driving under the influence, refusal to perform field sobriety exercises, driving under the influence, property damage, leaving the scene of an accident with property damage, and he was also issued a citation for careless driving. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, this event occurred on August 29, 2009. We agree on that?
Yes, sir.
The event where Deputy Harvey was stopped. Now, let me draw your attention to the second page, the second marked page. About 3/4 of the way down the page, there should be a little tab that's marked near the paragraph I want to talk about. This report indicates that Deputy Harvey led the police on a chase for about a mile before he was finally apprehended. Is that right?
He didn't stop.
He didn't stop. And he continued with the police in tow for lights and sirens on for approximately 1 mile. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you have no reason to doubt that, do you?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, as a result of his refusal to perform the field sobriety exercises, by statute, his driving privileges were automatically revoked for 1 year, were they not?
Yes, sir.
And he did a hardship license, but his regular driver's license would be revoked for a year.
Yes, sir.
Now, and isn't it true that during the IA, Deputy Harvey admitted to being intoxicated while behind the wheel?
I'm just going to put an objection on the record. The person that actually wrote this document that you're referring to is sitting right next to me. He may be the better witness to ask about his own report.
Well, this report was provided to the sheriff and used as the basis to make the decision. I trust the sheriff can read. So I hardly see a basis for any meaningful objection.
Well, just as an overview here, when we get into trying to prepare cases, I don't mind getting into a little bit from either side because that's part of what we're supposed to consider in our deliberations. But I don't want to go in great depth on every police officer that was ever fired because we just don't have time for that. I don't think it's a huge part of our decision-making process. But she started it, and you need to go into it. I understand.
In all fairness, I only intend to highlight 2 officers out of the litany I could have chosen from. And for that very purpose, for efficiency and for the simple reason I don't want to keep you here longer than you ought to be. But I do think it is an important part of the decision-making process in this case, and I hope you'll give it due consideration.
Well,
Of course.
1 second, please.
I'm sorry?
She's changing names.
Okay.
What do you normally do about lunch? Do you stop?
We're against it on principle.
We don't need to.
Mr. Lang, were you, I think she's ready.
Oh, yes, I'll go ahead.
Oh, you're about to say something.
Were you going to say something? You look like you were going to say something.
I look like that.
Okay, sorry, I apologize.
Sorry.
Okay. Now, our last question I asked, I believe, was Deputy Harvey admitted to driving drunk in the IA. Is that right? And you said yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, and during the investigation, it was revealed that the pursuing officers activated their emergency equipment that Deputy Harvey failed to yield for approximately a mile, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I noticed in this case, the IA was signed by Sergeant now Lieutenant Morgan on January, looks to be 8th, possibly 5th, 2010. Do you see that? It's
Yes, sir.
okay. Now, so approximately 6 months elapsed between the event and the IA being concluded. Was this one of those situations where the IA was postponed pending the outcome of the criminal proceeding?
I don't recall. You'd have to ask somebody. But I don't recall.
I believe I can answer that question. You'll turn to, I think, about 5 tabs. going to be your final suspension letter to Deputy Harvey that you're looking for. Yes. You see that there, sir? Your final suspension letter to Deputy Harvey? It is dated December 14th, 2009.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, I want you to turn to the second page where there's a sticky on the middle section there. And it reads, although the courts dismissed the criminal charges of driving under the influence, refusal, and leaving the scene of a crash with property damage, you pled no load to the charge of reckless operation of motor vehicle and you were found guilty. As a deputy sheriff, you are held to a higher standard, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it would be fair to say, sir, that this IA was completed after the criminal charges were adjudicated.
Yes, sir.
Now, there is also, so this is one of those cases where the Sheriff's Department